Good afternoon and welcome to your Neighborhood Network, where you learn about great things in our area. This afternoon we're visiting an old friend, Bruce Maurhan with Maurhan Plumbing. And I want to ask you, Bruce, if you would tell our viewers a little bit about Maurhan Plumbing, the people that don't already know.
Sure, John. We're a fourth generation plumbing shop. My grandfather started the business back in the early 50s. He ran it for many, many years. My father stepped in, learned the trade all the way through, took over the business. Then, I don't know, probably 35 years ago, I stepped in, started working in the business, and been learning the trade and working all the way through. And then he retired about 10 years ago, and we've been going good since then.
Wow. And I understand you're teaching your kids now, right?
That's correct. My son-in-law is working here now, too.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway, tell us a little bit about some of the things you do.
Well, we have 24-hour emergency service. We provide residential, commercial, industrial services also. We take care of drain and sewer problems, not just snaking. We deal with root problems. We do root treatment systems so that we can cut down the root growth. We do sewer and drain hydrojetting if the need be. Basically what that is, it's a high pressure water hose that goes down the line, but it's so high pressure it cuts through roots and grease and all kinds of stuff. It really works well. We also do flood control systems, which are a nice addition to any house there. What they do is they detect any kind of leak in the house, and they'll shut the water off to the house if there's a leak going on, and the alarm goes off and you know there's a problem. We do water purification systems, water softeners. We can tailor those to any type of house you've got and your needs. We do electronic leak detection. We can find leaks under slabs and places that are very difficult to get to without actually breaking a bunch of holes. We do water and gas leaks from attics, walls, underneath houses, wherever. Water heaters and disposal repairs and replacements. We carry a full line of water heaters and disposals. We do backflow testing and repairs. Backflow is a device that's on your system there, or some systems, so that if there's a fire somewhere and they're actually sucking enough water out of the mains in the city, it'll actually create a negative pressure and pull the water out of your house. And if you have any sprinklers that are the sprinkler heads are underwater, there's a possibility that the water can come back into the drinking water system. So that's what backflow devices are about.
Whoa, that ain't good.
No, not at all. We're factory authorized tankless experts. We do repairs and new installs for several different brands. We do custom kitchen and bath remodels. We locate slab leaks underneath the slab for the leak detection, so we can go ahead and listen and we can find the leaks like that way and without them break a bunch of holes. We do inline sewer inspections, which is basically a video camera that goes down the sewer and checks for any breaks or problems like that. Automatic sprinkler controls for installations to detect or to figuring out what the problem with the system is. Earthquake shutoff valve installations, sump pump and sewer ejection systems. Pretty much anything to do with water, gas, and sewer, we have a hand in.
Actually, I should have just asked you what you don't do.
Well, there you go.
Folks, I want to tell you something. I've been using Maurhan Plumbing for over 20 years, and they are absolutely the best. And I've talked to several of their clients, and I mean, they're notorious in their area of service for being honest, prompt, knowing all the answers to all the problems and solving them quick and simply. And I don't know what else to say beside that, frankly.
Well, we try hard. All the guys go to school for 4 years. They're licensed, certified. We have ongoing training, so all those 4 generations of knowledge go into every job.
Well, I know that you guys are well schooled.
We try.
Because I remember your grandpa.
Yes, he had one way of doing things.
And that was the right way.
No doubt about that.
Folks, for all you out in the audience, I want to tell you something. If you need any kind of plumbing adjustments or repairs or new installations or whatever, it's Maurhan Plumbing. These guys are amazing, and they're honest, and they're capable, and they just do a hell of a fine job. I want to thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure, John. Thank you.
Well, I know how busy you are.
Sometimes, you bet.
Anyhow, I do want to thank you again very, very much. And can we come back and visit you again
You bet.
in the near future?
Sure. Anytime.
Oh, okay. That's it, folks. Plumbing, it's Mowerhand Plumbing. Don't miss out. Good evening and welcome to your Neighborhood Network, where you learn about great things in our area. This evening we are at one of the best. We're here at the Los Angeles Zoo, and I'm standing here with Jason Jacobs, the PR director. Jason, I want to thank you first of all for giving of your time, because I know how much scarce your time is. Would you tell our viewers a little bit about the LA Zoo?
Well, the Los Angeles Zoo is located in the heart of Los Angeles, right in Griffith Park, which is one of the great amenities of the city. We have over 1.5 million visitors which come to this zoo every year, and they explore our zoo and they see many animals from around the globe. We house over 1,100 animals, many of which are rare or endangered species. And while we want people to come to the zoo to see these animals, we also want them to learn about them. And most of all, we'd like them to learn what they can do to make a difference for wildlife.
Tell us about some of your special exhibits.
Well, our newest exhibit is Elephants of Asia. It's the largest exhibit in the history of the zoo. It spreads over 6 acres, with over half of that space being devoted to the elephants. And it tells a story of the elephant's place in the culture of Asia, specifically in 4 countries: China, Cambodia, Thailand, and India. Elephants in the wild face many challenges, and this exhibit will tell people about some of those challenges, such as poaching and habitat loss, and what our visitors can do to make a difference and help elephants in the wild. The exhibit has many amenities designed specifically for the elephants, including a barn with heated floors, waterfalls that elephants can go in and bathe underneath. We also have bathing pools, sandy pits, varied topography, so it's a lot of space for the elephants to roam and to be able to take care of themselves.
Almost like their natural habitat.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm sure you have some other special exhibits, right?
We do. One of the other most popular habitats at the zoo is Campo Gorilla Reserve. It's home to 2 troops of lowland gorillas. A lot of times gorillas get that King Kong reputation, especially with us being located so close to Hollywood. But really, gorillas are gentle giants. They're herbivores, which means they eat fruits and vegetables and grasses. And here at the zoo, you can get very close to them. You can view them just beyond a moat or through a glass panel. So, you know, it's really a great experience for visitors to come out and see the gorillas up close.
Well, I'll tell you, it sounds fantastic, but I know that you've got literally hundreds of other animals as well.
We do. You know, we have animals from all corners of the globe, like tigers, koalas, flamingos, lions. So there's animals from all over the world here at the Los Angeles Zoo. It's a zoo with different animals and species just waiting to be discovered around every corner.
Well, I'll tell you, the people out there in the audience really need to get in here and explore this and enjoy it, because it's just a phenomenal experience to learn about all these different animals and creatures, huh?
That's right. You know, a lot of people know about lions and tigers and bears, but when you come to the zoo, you can discover animals that you've never heard of before, and that's part of the fun.
Well, I'll tell you, I know that you're very, very busy, and I really appreciate your giving of your time to us. Folks, for you out there in the audience, I want to tell you something. The LA Zoo is one of the best zoos in the country. It's something you really don't want to miss, and if you have children or grandchildren or nephews or nieces or grown-up adults that just want to learn a little more, it's the LA Zoo. Would that be accurate?
That's accurate. Thanks so much for coming out and visiting us today.
I thank you very much for your time again. And folks, get in here. Don't miss this. Good evening and welcome to your Neighborhood Network, where you learn about sensational things in our area. This evening we are visiting the LA Arboretum. I'm standing here with Mitchell Bishop, the curator of the Queen Anne Cottage. Is that correct?
And the historic section are basically our 5 historic buildings in the landscape.
Well, you're going to have to go into that one.
All right.
But I want to tell you, folks, this place is fantastic, and I'm going to ask you if you would be so kind as to kind of lead us around the garden.
Sure.
Take us on a tour.
Well, as you enter the Arboretum Gardens, one of the first things you'll notice as you drive in is the Bower Lawn and the McPhee Pools, which are quite spectacular. It's a big open area with a very beautiful fountain. And then you come through our rotunda main entrance and you come around by the Peacock Cafe. And near the Peacock Cafe is a new feature, which is our undersea garden, which uses cactuses and succulents to create the effect of a tide pool. It's really quite remarkable, new, and very popular with our visitors. You then progress on into the historic core area, which is more toward the southern edge of the property. And as you go down there, one of the first things you'll notice, depending on what you see or which way you go, is either the adobe or the coach barn, 2 buildings that I'm responsible for. The coach barn is quite remarkable. It's a very ornate, very elaborate Victorian building, very unusual survival from this time period of a Victorian coach barn with an elaborate interior. It's really quite spectacular. Adjacent to the coach barn is our Victorian rose garden and our herb garden, both designed by Huntsman Trout, a noted Southern California landscape architect. And around the rose garden is a beautiful citrus grove of different types of citrus. You come across the lawn then to the Queen Anne Cottage. The Queen Anne Cottage and the coach barn are listed together on the National Register of Historic Places. And the cottage is quite remarkable. It's by the architect Albert Austin Bennett, built for Lucky Baldwin about 1885-86. And it's a kind of a wedding cake of a structure. It's very much a playhouse. It was designed as a guest house for the ranch, for Baldwin's guests, and has a kind of a lighthearted feel. It has gorgeous stained glass windows. It's open twice a year for visitors when we have open houses and Mother's Day and Christmas. We take people through on tours. And it's decorated with period furnishings, some of them from the Baldwin family. And the rest were actually chosen because they're consistent with the original furnishings that were in the house. And we have some quite interesting pieces in the house, and the house is something that is really a must-see for Southern California. It's unusual in that we also have around the gardens in the house, we have historic trees from the Victorian period, so it's essentially an intact Victorian landscape around the house, which includes Baldwin Lake, which was used for boating. The Santa Anita Depot is one of our 4 historic buildings, and the depot originally was up on Colorado Avenue near Baldwin, but had to be moved when the 210 freeway was put through down to Baldwin Avenue at the southern edge of the Arboretum.
Well, also, as I recall, when you were bringing me to the Queen Anne Cottage, we passed a magnificent waterfall.
Yes, the waterfall is really amazing. It's a favorite location for wedding photography, and it's also a great location for a hot summer day because it's probably one of the coolest places in the entire Arboretum. And it's adjacent to our Asian garden area, which is very beautiful and quite nice, as well as the Grace Callum Garden, which is our perennial garden, which was endowed by Grace Callum, as well as with an endowed curatorship, which looks after the Callum Garden. So overall, that area is particularly nice, and it's at the foot of Tallock Knoll, which is a large hill above it. Both Tallock Knoll and Baldwin Lake are features related to the Raymond Hill earthquake fault. Very unusual.
Well, I'll tell you, this place is spectacular, and I want to thank you so much for taking us on a brief tour. And I want to tell all you folks in the audience, my name is John Beck. I'm your host today, and Mr. Bishop is our expert today, and you got to get down here to the Arboretum. This place is beautiful. Don't miss out.